welcome everyone to another week of the Focus TV. We got Xavier White here, Cardo Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Turpin Jr. We're gonna get straight to it. This is season 9, episode 25. Ray, gonna hand it off to you. The Washington Mystics have played 2 games since the last time we were here. Um, what's going on with the Mystics?
Yeah. As far as their most recent game, I think they took us the wrong way when we said they got to stop giving us heart attacks at the end of games because this one was over well before the end. They fell to the Dallas Wings 92-69, and quite easily their worst game of the season to this point. They couldn't do anything right. They couldn't take advantage of anything they do well. They got dominated in the paint and on the glass, which have been two areas where they have been extremely successful through the first 3 games of the season. But yeah, Dallas just took it to them, man. And then the turnovers, which has been a constant. They need to clean that up. They had 8 turnovers in the first quarter against the Wings, and Dallas took full advantage. They jumped out 19-9, and the Mystics could never regain their footing. They pushed them a couple times trying to fight their way back into the game, but yeah, the turnovers on top of Dallas being sharp offensively and compounded by the fact that the Wings do not turn the ball over very often. They just dissected them, and the Mystics they could never catch their breath. Dallas smelled blood. They had been called out publicly by their coach, so they were already coming in with a fire lit under them, and they took it to the Mystics. But it's 4 games in with an extremely young team. We seen some peaks and valleys. The Mystics were coming off a win themselves against the Indiana Fever in overtime, where for a good chunk of that game they looked like a very solid team. It took some unreal shooting from Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark to make that a game late. But for about 2.5 quarters, they had both of them pretty well in check, which is not easy at all. So yeah, there is definitely some positives with this Mystics team. Outside of the Dallas game, they've been very solid defensively. They swarm people. They use their size. Like I said, they on offense, points in the paint, they've just been extremely dominant. I think prior to last night's game, they were leading the league in that area. A couple of things they need to improve. The turnovers, which was mentioned. Yeah, we saw the height of their deficiency against Dallas, and their outside shooting. Outside of Sonya, they haven't really been doing well in that area, but yeah, they need to be able to spread the floor so they can continue to take advantage of their bigs. But yeah, their big three of Shakira Austin, Kiki Irfin, and Sonya Citron, they came out the gates hot. Last night we'll give them a mulligan, but yeah, especially for Sonya and Kiki, they're picking up right where they left off last year. They had all-star years, and yeah, Sonya was averaging 24 game. Kiki's had a double-double the first 3 games. Wasn't able to quite get there last night, but yeah, man, we we talk a lot in Mystics Outlook about this being an extremely young team and only 4 games in. So I think people can relax. You can take a measured approach to the issues they're having. People are talking about lineups and adjustments and things like that. That stuff is going to be fluid throughout the season. They're not even fully healthy yet. Michaela Onyenwere has yet to play. We know she's going to play a big part on this team, being one of the vets and what she brings defensively as well. So folks can relax. You can still be optimistic. They're the youngest team in the league, but they also have a lot of talent. So, like I said, that big three there, they're starting to really gel and find their way. We can just scrap last night and look forward to the next one and just work on the things that, that have been hampering them through this early part of the season. But yeah, man, I think they're on a good track so far. So we'll see, man. Hopefully they can just get these turnovers under control. I think if they buckle down on that and give themselves more of an opportunity to to one, run their offense, and two, be able to set up on defense, then we'll see some amazing things from them. They've yet to put a full game together. If it gets to a point where they're clicking on all cylinders, it can get pretty ugly. So yeah, man, here's to hoping they can figure it out and just get some consistency.
All right, Cardell. You weren't with us last week for a great reason. Uh, NBA Combine. What's yours?
Yeah, man. Another year, another draft season, man. 2026 NBA Combine. In a loaded draft, gave a lot of scouts the ultimate GMs, ultimately the top decision makers in the game. Uh, a lot to think about. This is going to be a very interesting draft season, as with a month away basically from the NBA draft. Whole lot of interviews, whole lot of workouts to go down, but obviously everything starts in Chicago with the NBA Combine. But as with any combine or pro pre-draft, pre-pro showcase, there are guys that stand out, and there are guys that need to stand out if they want to hold on to any hope of becoming an NBA player or a pro. And here's my list of guys that really left Chicago with a lot of momentum, man. And there's a segment of biggest stock risers in the NBA Combine. Number one off top is Cameron Carr out of Baylor. What he did right away was special. You know what I mean? About 6'5", measure officially at 6 foot 4.5, 7 foot wingspan. But I mean, for guys they got to play on the 5-on-5s to prove their case that they're worthy of moving up. Whether it's if you're undrafted to move up in the second round, or if you're in the second round, you're trying to move up in the first round. He did about as best of a job, the most ideal job you could possibly do. I think he helped himself more than anybody in that building. He posted. Oh, also he had 42.5-inch vertical, so that definitely don't hurt when you 6'5". So that allows him with his wingspan to be able to guard and play bigger than what he really is. But his production, the 5-on-5, was what I believe won all front offices over. He had 30 points in the first game, 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. He was literally 4 for 4 to start the game. Like, the first points were him, and he was 4 for 4, and they were all 3-point shots. It was in transition, it was spot up, so it was on the move. He literally started the game with that, man, and he ended up hitting 6 threes in the game. He also had 2 blocks. He scored every which way possible, man. That's ideal for what the NBA is now. He was so dominant that he didn't even. They basically told him to shut it down. He didn't need to play the second game, and that's what you want to do when you're coming into the combine trying to move up, man. But for me, obviously, I look at both ends of the floor, and it wasn't just him just scoring at an efficient rate. It was his defense, which at Baylor could be hit or miss, but you can see he had the physical tools to do it if he really wanted to lock in. And obviously, in front of the whole league, he locked in. He was keeping guys in front of him, rotating over. Even when he dug down and the opposing team made good reads and made a pass to his guy, where most players can recover, he took 2 steps, he jumping, and he blocking corner threes. That's what every team in the league is looking for from perimeter players, to be able to do that. Like, literally take 2 steps from the paint after sliding over or digging down, recover, find your man, and get a good contest and end up with a block or something. That goes to show you his athleticism and his wingspan, man. He was special, man, and he jumped out right away. To me, he easily moved himself into a first round consideration from kind of being projected late first round, second round. If he's not a first round pick, a lot of teams are lacking, and they're going to pay down the road. He proved that much, and he was that good. And it also included what he did all season, being one of the top players in the country. Next up is Morez Johnson Jr. If you watch the national championship game, the tournament, so a lot of them, Michigan forward center. Johnson, who today officially announced that he would be staying in the NBA draft, quietly had one of the better all-around combine weeks among bigs. A lot of teams, and myself included, were surprised in a good way when he measured about 6'9" barefoot, and has a 7'3.5" wingspan, an 8'11" standing reach. Those are dimensions you normally see with NBA centers, not power forwards. The footers, they normally have that type of metrics and measurements, not power forward. So that tells you he has the physical tools to play the 4 and 5, which only boosts your stock when you're versatile. You can play at different positions, man. But one of the biggest question marks coming in was his shooting. Obviously, he has the physical tools, but does he have enough of a good foundation to shoot where they can build on that in the league? And they proved that he does, man. He hit 17 of 25 from deep in the star shooting drill from 3-point range, and then went 9 of 10 from the free throw line. So that pretty much shows he has the potential to be a spot-up shooter. And then also when he gets fouled, finishing inside, rolling to the basket, lob threat or whatnot, he's going to hit his free throws, man. Look, his jumper still isn't the most polished, obviously, but the mechanics look cleaner. You could tell he's been working. And with the way he shot efficiently in those categories, you have a base to build off of. And that's the most important thing. So it's a role for him at the league. His value, his combination of value with everything physically, his game, his motor, how tough he is, and all that is something you can't ignore, man. Next up was Jacoby Gillespie, former Maryland guard, by the way, but he ended last year at Tennessee. He came to come out. He needed to prove that he could score against NBA level athletes, and mission accomplished. Outside the car, he was probably had the best performance in the 5-on-5s. He had 24 points in the first half during one of the scrimmages, and was one of the best stretches of scoring I've seen in my couple years being in the combine. By the way, thanks to the NBA for having me come through. I don't want to leave that out. For people that know, it's very exclusive. And, it's hard to get into, so you can't take that for granted when you do. But Gillespie, he showed up. He showed he could shoot from pull-up, from 3. Showed he could shoot pull-up jumpers over wings with size and athleticism. He scored in transition. He could score out of pick and roll sets, man. He did that all year at Tennessee, did it at Maryland, did all throughout his college career. But his range and his confidence to let it fly from deep and hit it efficiently, that's what was surprising. He finished the game with 28 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals overall. Now the questions are about his size, man. He's not even 6 feet. He's about 5'11". But he competes defensively. He's not an easy win, which is key for smaller guards. We talked about this for years with small guards in the league. You can't just let people have your way, and he competes. Obviously, he's a good playmaker, and he can hit shots, and he's comfortable running the team. A 6'4" wingspan, which is decent for a 5'11" point guard, but he, for what he's kind of being seen as somebody that can be a reserve point guard, coming and bring instant offense, make instant reads, and make plays and stuff. I think he's ready to go with his experience and his skill set. Next up, I'm going to say early, shout out to KD, man. These dudes been coming in the league like clockwork since he came through. Bob Miller, Cincinnati forward. He's one of those guys you got to keep an eye on because he has the upside to be special, or he could just kind of be a rotation guy. He has that much talent. He measures 6'10.5" barefoot, but he has a 7'2" wingspan, and he moves and plays like a 3. He can handle the ball. It was one play he took the ball off the board, dribbled through the defense, and literally went down and dunked the ball with ease. He can hit shots. He was hitting threes and mid-range shots, scoring inside. The defensive versatility, obviously being that size with the athleticism that he got and agility, man, he can guard the 3, 4, and some fives, because he's only 208 at the combine. He only weighed 208. Obviously, against the Jokic and the Embiids and certain players, certain centers in the league, that ain't gonna fly. Embiid, when he's on the floor healthy, that ain't gonna fly. But the guys that are kind of like stretch bigs and kind of like he'll be just fine guarding those type of centers, man. And also, what's encouraging is he doesn't need the ball to time to impact the game, which is crucial for him. Not only having a sustained role in the league, but also having a long career in the league if he's able to continue to get better and establish a role with whichever team chooses to pick him. Look, a new term is connector, and when I mean by connector, somebody that can facilitate, that can score, and all that just kind of fits a role. and defensively connect, where he can guard multiple positions and you can keep him on the floor, and you don't really lose value with him. So he fits that mold at forward perfectly. He can switch defensively. He can protect the weak side, grab and go in transition, be a secondary playmaker, and he can space the floor enough to keep defenses honest, man. So he's an ideal fit for most NBA teams, man. So just kind of wait and see what he does in workouts and where he's selected in late June. Next up is Jaden Bradley, Arizona point guard. His game isn't the most flashy, but he's steady, and you know, for a lot of NBA teams, that's what they need, man. You know, we've seen throughout the playoffs, we literally seen some teams lose playoff series. Won't say no names, but lose playoff series because they didn't have a point guard that can control the flow, and control the team, and control the tempo of the game, and get guys shots where they're most effective. And he fits that mold, man. He finished with 10 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds while controlling the pace. Yeah, teammates involved. Physically, you know, he fits the part. 6'2.5", 205 pounds, 6'7" wingspan. So he has a combination of strength, rebounding. He lives in the paint. Guards struggle to keep him out the paint. So he definitely, as a guard, will get paint touches on offense. And you know, he really showed that he can carve out a backup point guard role at the NBA level, depending on the team. So, again, another guy to definitely keep an eye on through this pre-draft process. Another one that woke a lot of people up was Matthew Abe out of NC State, guard and wing. His niche is he can put the ball in the basket. You know, sometimes you just need that. He had a 15-point game in the first scrimmage, and then 17-point performance in the next 5-on-5 game. He looked very comfortable scoring from all 3 levels, measured at 6'4", but he has a 6'8" wingspan, so he can play a lot bigger than what he is, perfect for the 2. He has enough agility with his length to, you know, slide between both guard spots and defend both guard spots. You know, it's just saying you are what you can guard. So if you don't have the physical tools to guard the 2, you can't play the 2. You know what I mean? Even though your game may be a shooting guard and that hurts you. But he's also athletic enough where he can defend you know, smaller guards as well. So that's key. His shot making, you know, like I said, transition, spotting up, catch and shoot, off the dribble. He can give it to you any kind of ways, man. So a lot of teams can use a guy that you can just get a ball to and they can just go get a bucket, man. Especially coming off the bench, just a scoring punch, and he fits that role. Next up, Felix Okpara from Tennessee, forward center. The first game kind of started rough because he got in foul trouble. Even though he was productive, he just stayed in foul trouble, so he was in and out of the game. But the bounce back performance in the second scrimmage was huge, man. He had 15 points and 7 rebounds, so 6 of 8 from the field in the second scrimmage. Look, his role is pretty clear. He's a dirty work big, rim runner, lob threat, shot blocker, 6'10", 7'2" wingspan, 9'4" standing reach. Has all the tools, you know, as a backup center. Kind of thing. I can't believe his name slipped my mind. That Paul Reed, backup center for the Pistons. He fits that mode. He's kind of in that mode. So, and the Paul Reeds, and if you look around the NBA, the guys kind of playing the Paul Reed role in the playoffs or whatnot, you know, it's value in that. Somebody could just come in and make an instant impact and do all the dirty work and get you something like a double-double. Those are valuable tools, especially to help your star center, especially when the star center is struggling, as the Pistons center was. Look, the key for him is just being disciplined, staying on the floor, not being in foul trouble. But if he could do that and be able to defend and defend aggressively, not consistently be in foul trouble, he'll be fine. Now it's a chance he can go back to school. We'll see, but he definitely has the tools to be in the NBA one day. Let's just leave it there. Ruben Chinyelo out of Florida, forward center. He looked every bit the force that we saw all season, man. And he weighed 259 pounds. Like, he's a grown man. Has a 7'7" wingspan. He's a monster, man. And he literally overwhelmed the best players in the country, man. He had a 14-point, 15 rebound performance. That just show what it is, man, that he does, man. Instant double-double. And the best thing about him is he embraces the dirty work. He doesn't try to outplay himself, man. Look, screens, rolling to the basket, rebounding, defending the paint. That's what he does, man. And then what really woke a lot of people up, he could shoot the ball a little bit, man. He's 5 of 8, shooting from deep in one game. So if he can just hit a couple threes to match what he does with the dirty work, getting a double-double, of course it's a role for him in the league, man. You just can't find that walking around on the street. There's a lot of teams looking for that type of production, man. So, again, he's another one that has rumors where he might go back to Florida. But what I think he's showed at the combine, he can go either way and be just fine. Coming in next is Braden Smith out of Purdue, point guard, just like kind of Gillespie, kind of around the same size, a little bit taller, 6 feet. Concerns about his size and all that, but that brother knows how to play point guard, man. He competed hard. He pressured the ball full court. He was a pest, and again, when you're a smaller guard, you have to be a pest, and he did that at an elite level, man. He created space offensively, showed that he can hit shots and has a reliable shooting touch. His second scrimmage was solid with 9 points, 7 assists, and 3 steals. He's going to be kind of like a TJ McConnell energy backup guard who can organize the offense, stretch the floor, and defend like a madman. And that's what will be the way he has to play to try to stick in the league. You know what I mean? Just being straight up, because obviously with his size, you see the trend at point guard, man. You got Shea, you got the Lucas, Cades, 6'6" and above point guards, man. That's shifty. They can do everything he can do. So if he's not tough, if he's not smart, if he's not efficient, if he can't defend, it's going to be tough for him to stick in the league. So I'm rooting for him, but he definitely showed enough where he should be under consideration. Almost finishing up. Next one is a kid I didn't really get a chance to see much of throughout the season. That's why I love coming to the combine. John Blackwell, Wisconsin transfer, who's a Duke commit, but he went to the combine and showed league decision makers, what it was. And he showed some strong flashes of being able to score the ball, rebound, and defend, man. He scored 16 points in the first game. He's one of the physical guard where he attacks the paint, and if you're soft as a defender or you don't like contact or you haven't been in the weight room, it's going to be a long night. He does not shy away from contact. He loves to bully guys. So that's what he kind of does, man. So if he's not hitting shots or mid-range and stuff, he's trying to punish you. So you got to be up to the task defensively. But he also showed, he was comfortable trying to create offense from multiple spots on the floor. Look, he's super strong, like I just said. He's confident, and his defensive upside, because of his frame and agility, is there. He just has to be more consistent with it. Also, sometimes he can get out of control with his decision making. Each game he had 4 turnovers, which obviously raised concern, because that's the thing in the NBA now. It's just too many guards that don't process the game quick enough and make the right reads, man. And can't have a guard that has the ball in his hands turning it over 4 times in a game. That's tough to overcome. But if he can improve in that area, be more consistent as a defender, shot selection, like I said, he can get tunnel vision, just attack. If he can improve in those areas, there's no doubt he has a chance of being in the league and having a long career. But we'll see. And going to Duke, he'll be well coached. If he chooses to go there, stick to his commitment, he'll definitely be coached up and be better for it, man. And because of all his tools, he should be able to thrive at the next level as a primary 2, but also secondary playmaker as a point guard too. And last but not least, UConn, one of Wilson's guys, Terrence Reed Jr., forward center. He may not have the flashiest week. He wasn't out there crossing people up, hitting step back threes or whatever. But he proved that he was a dependable guy. He measured at 6'10", with the 7'4" wingspan, and he just played to his strengths, man. He had a 17.5 rebound, 2 block performance with 7 to 9 shooting. He just wanted. You could tell he came in there just to show I understand what I am, and this is the role I can play at the next level. He screens hard. He seals deep. Like when they running basket to basket, which is basketball 1-on-1 for any big. He gets deep in the paint, he turns and he seals. He has good hands as well. Even though it was a lot of hands in the paint when they threw him the ball, hitting him and all that, when he gets his hands on the ball don't come loose. And he knows what to do with it. He knows he's a smart player. He knows if he need to kick it out, depending on who's digging down, or he knows where he can get his shot at. You know what I mean? And he finishes through contact pretty well, and he's a run protector. That's an underrated skill that you don't see a lot of bigs doing anymore. He will protect the run, but he's not a floor spacing big, man. So I think about pretty much outside of 15 feet, he's a non-threat. So, but any NBA team can use a physical backup center who knows how to play the game and brings toughness and is smart. And Reed definitely fits all those traits, man. So again, just keep an eye on him and all these players throughout the pre-draft process, and we'll see where they all end up in June.
which is rapidly approaching. Way too quick. All right, so we're gonna move on to the NBA playoffs each and every week. NBA playoffs is giving us something to talk about. Last night was crazy for a lot of folks. I'd say we're gonna start with you. Obviously now we are finally in the conference finals. That's where the playoffs have taken us. So your thoughts as we have now arrived to the conference finals, and the game seven that was over there in the East that led us here.
Yeah, both the games over the weekend, the Timberwolves, sad way to go out. Definitely, you want to give a lot of credit and kudos to Anthony Edwards for playing through that hyperextension that he had in his knee. A lot of people don't realize how difficult that was for him to still go out there and play. I know he was getting a lot of flack for the gapping up with 8 minutes left in the game, but I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. In that situation, but the Spurs, I thought that series was a tough series. It was definitely a game of runs for both, but the Spurs just outlasted them a little bit longer. The Pistons and the Cavs, game 7 was sad. Was also pretty sad. It's a tough pill to swallow if you're a Detroit Pistons fan or play for the Detroit Pistons. Especially, what the likelihood was going into the season that they had to be the number 1 seed and get knocked out by the number 4 seeds in the Cavs in that fashion is crazy. But again, they also had a lot of ups and downs in the season, 2 back-to-back game 7 series, which can be a good and a bad thing. That means you fought to the end, but you also let the other team back in the game as well. But the Cavs definitely showed up. It seems like when the Cavs don't have too many turnovers and James Harden can control it, and Donovan Mitchell was playing the way that we've known him to play in his past. And the bigs as Evan Mobley, like I really think like it was a kind of a team win for them. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and then the others as well stepping up for them. I do think that on the East side, like it's crazy. It's like some people would have called this as the Eastern Conference Finals. Some people wouldn't have. I don't think I think some people may have had a lot of faith in Cleveland. I know here we've kind of weighing back and forth, and I'll definitely be the first person to say it. But now for them, it's time to put up or shut up. The Knicks have been playing flawlessly. They've been off for a whole week. So we're going to have that whole rust versus rest. Cavs just coming off of a game 7 a day ago, but they could be in a good momentum the way that they ended their series as well. But the Knicks, we know they've been playing really, really well, playing very well through Cat and OG has been out the last couple of games, so he's had some extra rest before the team had the rest as well. So, but it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back with that hamstrings. We know hamstrings can be a hard injury to come back from. It pains me to say, but I think the Knicks will pull it out. Even though I honestly could see it going both ways, because both teams have had situations where they kind of tricked the game away. I think more so the Cavs than the Knicks recently, at least. But I think it's going to be a really good battle, especially in the paint. See if Cat can continue the run that he's been on. Now that he's playing against 2 other players that are just as tall as him and maybe just as physical, or if not more physical than him. But they have to be on, the Cavs do, because I feel like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen at times have lulls where they're kind of locked in and then they're not locked in. James Harden is going to have to not turn the ball over. We know the Knicks play really, really good defense. But then on the other side of it, I'm sure Jalen Brunson probably won't see too much of Donovan Mitchell, but I would love to see it. But if the Cavs can get that matchup to happen, that'll be helpful for them. But then the rest of the Knicks still have to come to the party as well. We know Mikal has had some lulls, but he's stepped back up recently. Deuce McBride has been playing well as well. They just got to be clicking on all cylinders, and it's a big test, obviously, for the team, but also for the coach. We know Mike Brown got fired because he wasn't able to get over this hump, so this is really the series that's going to kind of, see if they made the right decision. I don't know if you can ever really get to a place where you can, like, for sure say that this was the right decision because they got over the hump. But on the other side, we know the Thunder have been resting for a while, and then, like I said, the Spurs went ahead and took care of the Timberwolves. This series is going to be so good. I'm actually mad at myself because I'm sorry. I go to sleep early because I'm kind of old. And I missed the second overtime, but woke up this morning and caught the replay of everything. And I mean, Victor Wembanyama, 42, 43 points in his Western Conference Finals debut. One of the top players to do so. I think that he's one of top for fourth. And players to have that many points. And I mean, 24 rebounds is nuts. It's nuts on top of the 42 points. But the Thunder, I mean, we've seen this series a bunch of times this year, just throughout the regular season, as well as we know during the NBA Cup, I believe that is what it's called. And the Spurs have had the Thunder's number. And it's also worth noting that the Spurs were able to win that game without De'Aaron Fox, who was a late scratch with an ankle injury. And they have they have more of the younger team. As we know, we were all looking to see if the Spurs would be able to overcome their youth as they go forward in this playoffs. And they have so far. Dylan Harper. Yeah, it was Dylan. Dylan Harper stepping in for De'Aaron Fox and played like he's been there the whole year. They're just clicking on all cylinders, but it's going to be tough because the Thunder and them went back and forth. Chet is going to have to really bring it a little bit more this series. I know there's some underlying tension between him and Victor. And I think Victor, I love the way he plays because he always plays with a chip on his shoulder. To be out there, watch Shea get his MVP trophy, and then go out there and drop 42 and 24 rebounds. So it's going to be a really good series. This is one of the ones that I wish they started a little bit earlier so I could make sure I could stay up and watch the whole thing as time goes by. But I'm excited, and I'm just looking forward to see who really comes out of that series. I think that one's really going to be a toss-up. It's just really going to be who's going to be on their P's and Q's at the end of the game.
Ray, your thoughts on the NBA playoffs now as we've reached the conference finals?
Yeah, man. On the West side, this is basically the series I've been looking forward to the entire playoffs. It seemed inevitable that these two teams would match up, and here they are. And they gave us an all-timer in game one. I couldn't be more satisfied. The Spurs, they gutted out a tough win on the road to get things started, which if they lose that game, the mental and emotional strain I would have had on them I would have been interested to see how they will recover from that. But fortunately for them, we won't have to wonder because they pulled it out. Victor Wembanyama, man, I don't know what more can be said. He's I don't know, man. It's just he's on that trajectory. I'll leave it like that. His development and the way he's coming along, not only physically and what he can do on the court, but his mindset is what I'm most impressed by. He it's never enough until he gets his championship, and that's what it looks like he's trying to do this year. He's on a mission. On the Thunder side, they nobody wants to lose, but they only got good games from J-Dub and Caruso, and they took it to double overtime. The likelihood of them continuing to play like that is not high. So this is going to be a hell of a series. Both teams need to buckle up and get ready for a great one. On the other side, Knicks and the Cavs, two teams who I didn't expect to see here. So shout out to them, man, for getting it done and handling business. The Cavs, they got it done on the road in the game 7 in convincing fashion. So they're coming in with some good momentum. The Knicks, they got the 76ers up out of there real quick. So they're rested and and they're ready to kind of finally get back to the championship round. So, hopefully they can give us a great series as well. But the way both of these teams are playing, it's a toss up. But yeah, man, just looking forward to 2 good series. I think most people are in the mode that whoever comes out the West is going to win, but that's why they play the game. So yeah, man, just excited and looking forward to seeing how things shake out.
Cardo.
Yeah, Octavia, Red Bull. Just had some Red Bull on that. You get through the game. But yeah.
I'll be trying.
I
gotta get to 5, bro. My eyes be like.
Gives you wings. You'll be good. So, yeah, on the Western Conference side, the Spurs, obviously got Minnesota up out of there. I think once that was the series to test to see if they were going to grow up. And they grew up. Not just Wemby, but the guards especially. Wemby, the physicality, I think, got to the Spurs at first, and that's what I mean by they grew up. They figure out how to play with that, play against that. And the guards were just a handful for Minnesota. They lived in the paint. They was hitting shots from the outside. They were defending ferociously. And obviously, when you got that monster behind you and you already holding your own on the perimeter, it's tough. It's no easy lay-ins. It's nothing. And the thing about Wemby, I think Rudy gave him problems enough early on, but then he figured him out, and he just took Rudy out on the perimeter, and Rudy can't guard him out there, and then that neutralized him. And then when Minnesota had to go small with Nas or Julius Randle or Jaden McDaniels, he went inside. And I think that series win helped the Spurs prepare for OKC. Because as ferocious as OKC is defensively, they don't have the bigs. They don't have Rudy Gobert. They don't have Nas. They don't have Julius. They don't have the caliber of bigs that Minnesota has. And they're physical. The guards are more physical, but the bigs haven't shown to be. And that's why you saw Wemby super comfortable in game 1. It's crazy that he's already at the level where honestly, the only thing left is him getting stronger before it's over, where like he could just set up shop at the spot and you can't do nothing about it, deep in the paint or whatnot. It also says a lot about OKC's bigs that they had to put Caruso and Dort and those type of guys on him to push him out the paint. And Chet, Hartenstein couldn't even stay on the floor because he's just he's not offensively bothering Wemby. Wemby can just sit in the paint. And that's what Wemby did with Gobert. That's what made it tough for Minnesota. Hey, you ain't a threat. I'm going to set my ass right here in this paint and wait for somebody to come in here. I only got to move. So you got to take him off the floor and make him a threat. Now you put Chet in, and he can guard Chet. You know what I mean? But on the opposite end, Chet didn't guard him, which is a question mark that we're going to need to see if it's going to get answered as the series go on, because how you 7-1, you the tallest dude on your team, and you watching your 6'4", 6'5" guards battle this monster, and you cool with that. That's why I say sometimes this era is just different. That's a pride thing. You know what I mean? So, and Wemby did what he should do. I'm gonna destroy these little dudes. You know what I mean? And he was on a mission. I know a lot of people like Chet and Wemby don't like each other. I don't think it's a personal dislike. I know Chet beat France when they faced each other in the under-19. I know Chet got the goal. They beat him in the championship game. So I think Wemby just, as you can see, he's super competitive. So I think he's holding on to that. And also, Chet got the ring first. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're competing for defensive player of the year. It's just competition. And they're in the same conference. And they know they got to go through one another for each of them to get what they want, individually and team-wise. So it just is what it is, man. And Wemby came out on a mission, man, to show I was MVP and show I'm the best player in the world. He showed that. Like it was a special performance. It was one of them ones, man. But I think the war against Minnesota prepared them for OKC. And it's not often. And what I mean by that, yeah, Steph Castle had 10 plus turnovers and whatnot. But down the stretch, when they really had to win, the Spurs looked poised at their young age without De'Aaron Fox on the road in their first this iteration of the Spurs in their first Western Conference Finals battle. They look more poised than the defending champs at home, and that's saying a lot. The OKC made some uncharacteristic mistakes. Like I remember that fast break with Shea and Caruso, and Shea took it all the way. Well, he took it all the way and jumped to try to draw the foul. Instead of going up strong or dumping that back to Caruso, and Caruso could give it back, you lost that bucket. Spurs go down and score. Dylan Harper drawing the foul late. You just saw just some uncharacteristic mistake. Even the kid that killed the Lakers, AJ Mitchell, that 3-pointer. And you wasn't really on like that. Like, nah, you got to understand what's going on. And that's the difference with a team like the Spurs with Wembanyama back there and the way those guys can defend. If you make mistakes, they're compounded. Like, it's not the same error with most teams. It's going to result in you really suffering the consequences for that mental mistake or that physical mistake. And that's what you saw. I know people saying, well, OKC, they lost and they didn't play their best game. Well, the Spurs won barely and they ain't played their best game. You know what I mean? They ain't have De'Aaron Fox. Steph Castle, what's the odds of him having 10 turnovers? What's the odds of, no disrespect, Alex Caruso having 30? You see what I'm saying? So if you got to rely on Alex Caruso to average 30 in the series, this Spurs like we good with that. We love our chances with that. So I think Shea, that play where he got a little selfish on that layup attempt, you don't see him get rattled. He may not show, but he got rattled. You see what the other guy over there doing, killing and stuff like that. I'm the MVP and I'm getting dusted up on my own whole court. Like I got and I'm he has stretches where he was getting locked up. Carter Bryant did a good job. Stephon Castle, they throwing bodies at him, and that's what made me feel like the Spurs, if they can maintain a mental edge and stuff like that, they can get them. Because one thing, at least Minnesota had bigs they could throw at Wembanyama. No disrespect, y'all really got faith in Chet. Hartenstein can't even play in this series because he's not a threat offensively. Like, that's tough. Like, they really got to make some adjustments, man. We're gonna see what those adjustments are, man. But yeah, hell of a win. I'm eager to see what the chess match gonna be for game 2 because that game lived up to everything the hype was coming in. And on the Eastern Conference side, the Knicks been just rolling, and they've been rolling ever since they started playing more through towns. It keeps them more engaged offensively. He's a mismatch. He gets to utilize his skill set. And one thing with bigs, if they're engaged offensively, they're gonna give you more defensively. If they're not engaged offensively, hey dog, shoot, you get beat. Hey man, he missed me on that post up. I ain't see him. I ain't see him go past the dunk. I don't know what you're talking about. And then it trickled down to the team, and then that's what you saw. But when the big happy, he got your back, and that's what you see, man. Obviously, Philly, Embiid, the injury history and all that was easy work. You know what I mean? The Cavs was in much more of a war with the Pistons. Pistons got to get Cade some help. I'm not gonna beat up on Jalen Duren. We all know what it is, man. Lord, he got to get in the gym. He got to get in the gym, get his skill level up, man. Because that was tough. That was tough to watch, man. And I know Jared Allen. He got to deal with Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. They jumping him. I get it. But if you just give them your regular season averages, that's a totally different series because now the Cavs have to guard differently. And that opens things up for guys that was used to being open with your production. But since you weren't producing, I could stay at home. And, the Max Strus of the world and you can get going and stuff like that. Now that, they get cheating, double team Cade and, make it like miserable for him. And they got a lot of work to do. Now on the matchup on the east side with the Cavs and the Knicks, I got the Knicks. Just think they're deeper. They got bodies to throw at Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Karl Anthony Towns. It'd be Mitchell Robinson. Good little battle with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. But with that being said, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley disappears too much for me. So I can't really trust that until they prove otherwise. And can they guard Cat? We're going to see. But, OG being back and Carl Bridges and obviously James at this stage, he couldn't defend in his prime. So how you going to stop Jalen Brunson? You see what I'm saying? So that's a long night, you know what I mean? So, but again, he has a size advantage over Jalen Brunson to make him work as well. So nice little adjustment. But I just think that the Knicks with with the way they've been rolling, they just stay steady and keep defending, keep playing through Towns, even though he may not, if Jared Allen and Evan Mobley jump him when they show up and they really press them, he may not have to put up big scoring numbers, but him just having the ball in his hands, being a playmaker and being able to kind of control the game from there, if he's able to do that, I got the Knicks coming out of these.
Yeah, I'll start on the East. It's just refreshing and weird. Feel like we're back in time a little bit. Like the consistency of teams' bigs matters. It's just really weird. Like being here, as you mentioned with the Knicks, I just got more faith that Cat and Mitchell show up more so than the two over in Cleveland. And I will also leave young fella in Detroit alone. They need him this playoff series. This playoff run, they really needed him. So hopefully he can bounce back. And even with him possibly bouncing back, they need a little bit more help. Shout out to the Thompson twin over there. I don't know if everybody heard was it Kenny Atkinson what he was saying about how they went about avoiding him to that degree, so y'all can hear how much defense matters. I don't care that he can't hit a shot. They just told you they avoided a kid for 4 quarters to get out of games. It was like I've never done that before in the game. But essentially, the plan was if he's on you, swing it. Don't think about it. Don't get it out your hands. Keep him over there somewhere. But yeah, I just think with the Cavs, man, unfortunately, just too many people disappear for too often over there. Um, I'm leaning towards the Knicks a little bit more long as they continue to play through Cat. On the other side, yeah, man, matchups matter. Uh, Cardell, you brought up the bigs and the difference between the bigs on the Thunder and the bigs on Minnesota. I don't think people really get this. Yeah, I love throwing on Rudy Gobert, man. All I do know is the Spurs' little bully guards. They had to think twice before turning the corner last series. There's no stopping crossing the street. They turn in the corner like, so who finna stop them? Dylan was turning the corner. Castle dunked on Shea. Wemby dunked on Shea and Chet. Like, they just didn't care as a whole. And again, the physicality, even having to deal with somebody like Jaden McDaniels, he's tall as hell. That's not out there for OKC. Like the way they go about bullying people, Spurs guards are like they're built for that type of stuff, and they're bigger and better athletes than them, which changes all of that. Like, Cardell, we talked earlier today, and I hope everybody remembers. Y'all remember hearing Lou Dort's name last night? It's been like that all season when these two teams play. Usually, all people talk about is Lou Dort's being overly aggressive, blah blah blah. And them Spurs guards do not care. It is not a problem. And yeah, I'm with y'all. That is shout out to this era, what have you. Shout out to Alex Caruso for what he does. That's absurd. That's absurd. That man was down there like that by himself. That's nuts. Minnesota was jumping him with multiple bigs. Y'all was like Alex Caruso. And also shout out to him. He shot like a freaking member of the 2016-2017 Warriors last night from three. He went 8 of 14 from three. If he doesn't do that, we're not in overtime. There's so much that's different from last night. But yeah, man, as you guys said, there's nothing else to label in terms of praises upon Wemby. I saw some things this morning that were hilarious, but it was cool last night kind of seeing sanity return to NBA discourse, at least for a night. I know it's not gonna last forever because, it's 2026. But it was cool that it matters and y'all can see the difference all of a sudden for one night. Um, but yeah, that series is gonna be fun. I just think like that they're a weird matchup for them, and I wouldn't be shocked, regardless of how this series goes. OKC and their treasure trove of assets. I bet you they about to go look. They about to go shopping for something to deal with that. Because he's not going anywhere. So, like he's not going anywhere.
Deal with Wemby.
They got to get at least big.
Ain't nothing out there, dog. Ain't nothing out there. Dog. You gotta have a center that can rumble. You gotta have a center like a healthy Embiid. That will kind of be his kryptonite because he got the weight size and the skill where he has the weight if he's healthy. Where Wemby's length won't mean nothing. I could go into your chest and knock you back, and I'll just dunk on you. Like that's the one. Jokic doesn't have the athleticism. He could do it. He has the bulk, but he doesn't have the athleticism. Embiid is the one guy that can kind of like, I'm the big dog out here until Wemby gets stronger. But ain't nothing else out here, bro. Unless he a kid, he growing up. He ain't fully grown yet. That's 1-on-1. Like I said before, the only one of his mold is Ralph Sampson, and unfortunately, his career was cut short back in the day. So with the knee injury. This here to stay, you know what I'm saying? So God willing, he stay healthy because I want to see great players stay healthy. We were robbed of a lot of great players growing up. You know, too many to name that the NBA history would look totally different had they stayed healthy. You know what I'm saying? So, Steph is the point guard of this era. He's the best point guard of this era, right? One of the best to ever do it. But what if Derrick Rose had stayed healthy? Because he was running through every top point guard in the league for a few years, and it wasn't close. So that's what I mean by just staying healthy, or maybe Penny. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like it's Grant Hill from our area, DMV legend. What he was doing. Like he would have been in his prime when Carmelo and LeBron and them came into the league, and it'd been interesting to see what he would have been in his prime, fully healthy, and you know what I'm saying. So. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Wemby's 1-on-1. If he stay healthy, you're gonna have to give him the Shaq treatment. You just gonna have to sign like 3 bigs and just throw bigs at him. That's all you can do. Just we need fouls. Just be physical with them. But you still gotta deal with them damn guards, man. They just gotta deal with them damn guards, man. That's the other thing, dog. They're
so young.
And they're complete, man. And they fearless, man. They athletic. They impact both ends. They can play, make plays, rebound, score. Hey, man. The Spurs are the Spurs for a reason.
We want to talk about just a nice life as an organization. Crazy. All right. Carter, I know we got a little bit of time left. Where you want to go? Rapid fire and second lead.
And before I get that, isn't it nice to see real defense being played, man?
Man, so refreshing. Like seeing people have to execute offense against real defense.
Yeah.
Like that's all I want, man.
And that's what you had to see last night, dog. Like you couldn't play in that game if you couldn't play defense, dog. Like people forget Keldon Johnson got benched last night because he kept getting beat. And no, we ain't even got time for that. This ain't that type of game. You gonna have us lose. Come and say it. Get your mind right, dog. We'll holler at you game 2. And Carter and Brian came in. I know he gonna play defense. So, hey man, that was a hell of a battle, man. And for all the people that really think defense is being played in the regular season, do you see what's going on last night? Like, come on now, y'all really think that's the same? Y'all got cut it out, man.
Night and day.
Thank you.
I looked up. It was like 50, 54 the third quarter. My heart smiled, man. I was. Like that's what I'm talking about, man. 2 high-level teams on both ends. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Not giving up nothing. 80s, 90s, level, like that's what we were used to growing up. That was the norm. So no, we just want good competitive basketball on both ends, man. But yeah, just a couple things we get up out of here. Big news right before we went to the show. Jason Kidd is out as head coach of the Dallas Mavericks after 5 seasons in what the team described as a mutual decision. Kidd has 4 years and more than $40 million remaining on his contract. Mavericks governor Patrick Dumont, who extended Kidd's contract during Dallas Finals run 2024, and again before last season after the Mavs declined that Knicks request to interview him, gave new president Masai Ujiri full authorization to determine the head coach's future with the franchise. Quote, as we evaluate the future of our basketball program, we believe this is the right moment for a new direction for our team, Ujiri said in a statement. We have high expectations for this franchise and a responsibility to build a basketball organization capable of sustained championship contention. We will conduct a thorough, disciplined search for our next head coach and continue to evaluate our entire basketball operation staff to ensure we compete at the standard Mavs fans expect and deserve. Take it or leave it, man. Kidd being fired right in the gist of pre-draft season. Octavia, we're gonna start with you.
We were just slightly talking about this before we came on air too. Like, I don't know what they expected for him to do this year with Kyrie sitting out. They got rid of AD. I mean, Cooper did everything he could as a rookie. But the only reason I would take it is because, and now granted, I don't always take everything they say as truth, but because they stated that it was mutual. Because Jason Kidd probably tired. My man's probably tired of being there anyway. And if it was mutual in that aspect, and I think there was always kind of some thought that this could possibly happen. I always think about when you get a new GM, a lot of times they like to bring in their own guy. So it wasn't that surprising in that aspect. But I think if it was based off of what was done last year, I don't really think that's completely fair to him. I think Jason Kidd has had to put up with a lot that's gone on in Dallas. And I think he's done it graciously as well. And, you know, it's crazy we're how many years removed from Jalen Brunson being there, helping them get to the Western Conference Final. I can't remember how many years it's been at this point too. But, I mean, when he has capable players and things, like, you could see him putting things together. But it's a business. Hopefully for him, it was actually mutual, so he can get him some rest, because I'm sure he's tired of everything that's gone on in that franchise. And maybe it is worth having a fresh start somewhere else. I always get interested to see if these coaches, when they get released or fired or whatever you want to call it, if they opt to take the year off or if they jump right back in it. I know Jamal Mosley already... I mean, he was fired for like 2 days. It seemed like my man already got a new job. Shout out to him in that aspect, if that's what you want. So I'll be interested to see where he ends up, because I think Jason Kidd is going to be one of those people that are going to be around the league for a long time in some type of capacity. So just interested to see where he ends up. So I'll take it if it was actually mutual, and I would leave it if it's not actually mutual. So if I have to go that way, I'll probably leave it, because I don't believe execs when they say things.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it, man. Of course, not knowing all the details, but like I understand they bringing in a new guy in, you know, and of course when you change management, there's going to be some, you know, some furniture moving, so to speak. But like last year was just that was a wash, and you know I'm just not sure what the direction is at this point. Also think it's kind of funny that everybody involved in the Luka trade, except the people that actually did the trade, are no longer there. But you know, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I just don't see the point, especially like you said, you know, so close to draft time and things like that. So yeah, like Octavia said, man, if it was a mutual decision, then cool. What does anybody have to say about it? But if not, unless they got something great already lined up, I gotta leave it. But you know, they still owe Jason Kidd $40 million, so I'm sure he's happy about that. But yeah, it was definitely a shock when I saw this come across the feed.
Wilson.
Yeah, it's Dallas. I get it. They got a new GM. Um, not a new GM, but what is it? President of basketball operations is what Sayuri is over there. So I'm sure he wants his own guy. Uh, I'll take it for now. They got a month before the draft and got some things they clearly have to work through or whatnot. But like to Ray's point, that is very interesting. There's a lot of people not here anymore, and some who are regarding the incident or what have you. But yeah, man, new regime, they usually, usually bring in your own guys. So I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's mainly what I think is just. I want my guy, somebody I can trust. I think trust is a big thing in the NBA now, with social media and so many people willing to leak stuff to feel important. You got guys you can trust. I also came across an old story that might have been had a little to do with it, where they kind of clashed back when Jason Kidd was coaching in Brooklyn. Masai Ujiri was with the Raptors, and he said something along the lines like "F Brooklyn" when they played. Well, he was caught saying that, and then Jason Kidd basically was like dismissed him, like, "Who is that? I don't even know who that is." Even though he the GM of an NBA team. He said, I don't even know who that is. I could care less about what they think about Brooklyn. We have a job to do, and that's to play the game of basketball. Now, I don't know Masai Ujiri. Petty runs rampant at those levels. Who knows? As professional as some may come across, pretty petty. You'd be surprised, man. So I'm not saying that's him. We don't know. We don't know that's him. But I have to imagine that didn't go over well. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And also, I know reports were that Kidd wanted that GM job and Dumont didn't give it to him. So, yeah, a lot of egos involved, man. So I think it was just probably, that's why I think it was mutual. It's just probably mutual for a healthier situation for us to just go our separate distance. I think it would be best for both parties. That's probably what they came to. Hey, man, you get a clean slate, bring in your own coach. I take my $40 million and walk, see what's out there, man. So we both win in a way, man. So I think that's what it is. And we'll see how everything works out. And last but not least, man, I'm going to go on the WNBA side. Chicago Sky forward Kid Jackson been diagnosed with a torn left ACL will miss the remainder of the WNBA season. She had an MRI after suffering an injury in Sunday's 86-79 win against Minnesota. She will have surgery on a date to be determined. Quote, "We're devastated that our kid suffered this injury, but we are confident she will make a full recovery," Sky General Manager Jeff Pagliocco said in a statement. Her kid was playing at an all-star and all-defensive level early in the season. We are certain she was primed for a career year. Our world-class medical staff will work hard with Rakil, who's one of the toughest players in the league, to get her back on the court. 6'2" forward. Jackson was the number four pick in the 24 draft out of Tennessee. He was acquired in the April trade with the Los Angeles Sparks for two-time All-Star and five-time All-Defensive Selection Ariel Atkins. Jackson had averaged 14.7 points, 3.2 rebounds in 2024-25 for the Sparks, who are now off to a slow start at 1-3. Ray, your thoughts on this loss and how does this impact the Sky?
Yeah, of course, whenever a player goes down, it sucks. But yeah, for this situation, I was definitely expecting Rakia to have a kind of a breakout year. And she was on her way this early part of the season. But for the Sky overall, they were taking a lot of heat for some moves that they made. But once it kind of got close to the beginning of the season and things kind of rounded out for them, they looked like they were in a good spot, man. And obviously she was going to be, one of the pieces of their core. So, definitely sucks for her and her teammates and, and the franchise as a whole, because now they got to kind of regroup, readjust and figure it out from here. But overall, just want her to have a full recovery and be able to come back strong and be able to play it out next year, hopefully.
Wilson.
Yeah, it's tough. Wishing her a speedy recovery because I know it's only been, it's early in the season. I think she got injured in the third game of the year. Prior to that, she's averaging 18, but she already had what was it, a 29 point outing, an 18 point outing at 19 in the preseason. I think her career averages coming in the year was 14 a game. So she was off to a really good start, like they said here. And we know, after they traded out Angel and some of the things that they're doing over there, you can see she probably had a great opportunity to be something they hope to build around and keep as a key piece. We know how important it is to have those types of players that she brings to the table on the wing at 6'2", being able to guard several different positions. And she can score in this league. Yeah, it's tough. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just wishing her a speedy recovery.
Octavia.
Yeah, hearing that news pretty good to me. I hate it for her. She's one of the young bright stars in the W, and definitely was looking forward to seeing her play more this year than 3 games, especially after coming off of, like you guys said, the trade from LA to Chicago. Um, Unfortunately for Chicago, they also still got some other injuries that they're dealing with. DeJounte hasn't touched the court, and I don't think Azur Stevens has either. So they got it's a big blow to them as well for what they plan on doing. Luckily for them, they got some vets over there that can possibly try to hold it down as much as they can, but it's really hard to replace a Rakia Jackson, just as well as she's been playing and how she's pretty much played ever since she came onto the scene. So definitely wishing her a speedy recovery. I expect nothing more than for her to bounce back and be just as good as the player she has been when she comes back from the injury. But it's definitely a terrible situation for her in this. So, like you said, praying for a speedy recovery as well for her mental, because being injured in situations like that is really really tough to deal with. Being in a new place and new expectations and things like that. So, and then of course we know she has some personal things going on earlier this year. So hopefully that she's in a good space. She got good people around her. She got the good staff around her. And just from the things that we've seen, I expect her to attack her rehab like nobody's business, and hopefully see her sooner rather than later.
Yeah, man. Anytime you lose your leading scorer, that's a blow. She was averaging 18, and she was tied for the team high 1.8 blocks per game with Camila Cardoso, man. So she was getting after it. She was getting it on both ends, man. But like you said, they got vets that can kind of hold it down. But that's 18 points you got to try to replace,
Yeah.
and they weren't the most high scoring team to begin with. They literally clamp you down, and then they generate offense off of that. So somebody's going to have to step up and make up for all that scoring and make up for her defense and stuff like that too. You know what I mean? So for the guard to be almost averaging 2 blocks a game, that's big time. Like she was getting after it. So yeah, man, just she's one of my favorite players in the W, because obviously I like players that get it done on both ends, man, and had that mentality. So definitely hoping she bounced back, man. And sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, like Octavia mentioned, man. She had a crazy off-court situation leading up to the season. This kind of gives her a chance to just chill, just sit still. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people may not think of it that way. Stress is a silent killer, and it brings more injuries to your body than you realize. So this is a chance for her to just through the rehab, man. Just get her mind back on track, man. Just get rid of any negativity, anybody bringing that to her, so she can stay sane and stay locked in and come back better than ever, man.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank y'all as always for tuning in this week. We'll check in with you guys next week as the NBA playoffs continue. We get closer to the draft and the WNBA season. We're another week into that young season on that side of things. Um, don't forget, our local television, the device, like Amazon Fire Stick or Amazon Fire TV. All you got to do is type in Focus TV to add the channel. Double tap OK. We'll see you guys next week.